Hi, welcome everyone. I am Dr. Rajkumar from School of Physics and Material Science, Thapar Institute of Engineering and Technology, Patiala. This is the fourth video regarding the introduction to computer programming in Fortran. In this video, we'll cover the topics of subprogram and data file operation. So first is subprograms. So many a time in many programs require that a particular group of instructions be accessed repeatedly from several different places within a program. These repeated instructions can be placed in a single subprogram, which can be called whenever it is needed, and moreover, different set of data can be transferred to the function each time when it is called. Also, logic of program become clear when it is divided into several concise subprograms. So we are talking about the main program. Each such program represents some well-defined parts of the problem. Such programs are easy to write and it is easier to locate errors as well. So it is easier to debug the program as well if you have made any mistake while writing the program. So this way of programming is known as modular programming. So this is particularly useful for writing programs for long and complex problems and thereby saving time as well. So a subprogram avoid need of repeated programming and program become easier to understand. Now this subprogram has two different categories, functions and subroutines. So function subprogram and subroutine subprogram. So this block diagram shows the concept of subprogram. In the middle we have a main program. I label it as main program or calling program, and in left and right hand side of this main block we have function 1 subprogram, we have function 2 subprogram on the right, and subroutine 1 on the right called by the main program. So these are called programs. So these are being called and are called in main program. So main program is the calling program. Alright, so arrow represent the area in which they are called in the main program or the line at which they are called. Also, one function can be called into another function, or in general one subprogram can be called into another subprogram multiple times. So function can call function, function can call subroutine, and subroutine can call function as well. Okay, so to begin with we have functions. They are of different types. First one is library function. So we have already discussed in previous videos about the inbuilt functions of Fortran. Second one is statement function. This is a one-line function used for writing the expressions whose values are required at different values of variable. So significance of statement function is that an expression evaluated several times in the main program or any program but with different values of variables. Okay, in that case it is very useful to use statement function once and then call this function with the different values of the argument. So the general form syntax is of type name. Name is the name of statement function and is defined by the well-defined naming rules of Fortran, which we have discussed in previous videos. So followed by bracket, and in this bracket we have n arguments, any n number of arguments separated by comma, and this name is assigned an expression which is to be calculated at different values. So let us consider a program in which we want to calculate distance by the formula s is equal to ut plus half at square at different times. So in this program, I'm calculating this distance using this formula from time t is equal to 1 second to 5 second in the step size of 1 second each. So what I need is I need to start the program, name of the program, then I define the function. Now name of function is dist, short form for distance. Dist. In bracket we have three variables u, a and t, because our expression uh, which is on right hand side ut plus half at square depends on three variables u, a and t. So u comma a comma t are arguments. Then from the user, I asked to enter the number of U, A and dt, step size. So I start with t is equal to 0. I assign the 0 second value to the variable t. Then I use explicit do loop, do I from 1 to 5. It is used for giving the increment in time. So t is equal to t plus dt. Then distance, which is a variable, need to be printed its value is equal to, simply I call the statement function dist in bracket u comma a comma t. Now the value of u, a and t are, we have already read their values. These are variables and they have certain values which we are feeding in these function through the argument u, a and t. Then simply for printing the value, just simply write t is the time and corresponding distance and finish the do loop, stop and end the program. When you execute this program, uh, I enter, for example, u is equal to 0, a is equal to 1 and dt is equal to 1. Step size of time is 1 because I need a distance at every second. So now the program output is like at 1 second it is distance is 0.5 units, at 2 it become 2, at 3 it become 4.5 unit, then 4 it become 8 unit and 5 it become 12.5 units. So this is how I calculated the value of this expression at different value of time uh, given for a value of u and a. I calculate this expression for different value of time by just defining this function at only one location and simply calling this statement function uh, again and again for calculating the value of the expression. So this is the simple statement function. Then next function is function subprogram. So we already have a statement function. Then why we need another subfunction subprogram? The limitations of statement function are it is a single line statement. Suppose if you want to perform a certain process in 2 or 3 or more statements, then we cannot use statement function. Another limitation is it cannot be called by other programs. So it is the limitation of uh, statement function that it is not a global function, it is a local function. If it is defined in main program, it will remain in main program, it can be used in the main program. If it is defined in another function or another sub program subroutine, it will be local to that sub program only. So for overcoming these limitations, we use a function subprogram. Syntax of function subprogram is it is a kind of independent entity after the main program or before the main program. Anywhere you can define this function subprogram. So it is type. You have to define the type of function. I will explain why we need type of function here. So then we have function as it is. Then name of the function. In bracket we have an argument separated by commas. Now in this function subprogram we have n different statements or n statements uh, uh, with respect to the statement function which has only one statement. Then after making the processing, after executing the statement, after writing n statements, you have to return the value calculated in this function to the name of function. So you see name here. So name is equal to expression. So whatever value you want to return to the calling program, uh, that can be returned using function name only. So name is equal to expression. This is mandatory. Then return and end. So this return statement returns the control back to the main program. So I have already explained. And now why we need data type of this function? Because we are returning the value, either real or integer, we are returning the value. So we need the type of function as well. So we have to define the type of this function whose name is NAMA. So type can be integer or real. Name is defined by the user. Return mean control is transferred back to the main program, and function return the answer by its name only, and end is physical end of the function. So this is layout of syntax. Now the function subprogram has to be called by another program by name with appropriate arguments. All right. It can be placed in one unit either before or after the calling program. Calling program is the main program. So it is an independent entity, that is, the statement, labels, and variable names used are local to function only. What does it means? That it is local to function only. Suppose we defined a variable I and whose value is 1 in main program, and I use the same variable I whose value is 0 for say in the function subprogram. So these two values, they are not mixing with each other, so they are independent entity. They are not global variable, they are local to that function only. So same label and variable can be used by calling programs. So in argument you can use same variable name or different variable name, but their data type should be exactly same. So suppose I want to make a program for calculating the product of two numbers using function subprogram. So I start with starting the program product using function. I define the name of program, then enter two numbers a and b, and variable product is equal to star in bracket a comma b. So this is the place where I have called the function subprogram and given the two values a and b. I need product of these two numbers from some function subprogram. Then simply write star comma star, product of a and b is product separated by comma. So this will print the product on the screen and end program. So this is the end of main program. In this rectangular box there is main program. Now comes, we have to define the function whose name is star. In this block we will define the function subprogram. Real is the type of function, data type of function. Then function name is star. I've already used this name in the main program. In bracket we have x comma y. Remember, we were using a and b in main program, and I am calling the same memory location as x and y in function subprogram. So there is no issue until unless we have changed their data types. If I modify the data type of x and y here in the function subprogram, then it will give an error. So data type of a and x should be same, b and y should be same. Then I have to calculate the product of these two numbers x and y. So I calculated x into y, and I have to return this value. How? By using name of the function. So star is the name of function. Star is equal to, I assigned the product to the name. Star is equal to x into y, and then return and end. So this is my function subprogram defined outside the main program. If I try to calculate, execute this program, it will ask me enter two numbers a and b. If I enter two numbers 2 and 3, product of product of 2 and 3, it will show as 6. So this is the simplest use of function subprogram. Another example of function subprogram is for finding maxima of n numbers. So I have written another program. I have defined an array whose the data type is integer and name of array is x, and I have assigned 100 memory location to it. Then I have to enter how many numbers I want to enter, and I have stored that number in a variable name capital N. It is an integer by default. Then I have to read the first n numbers. So I use write statement for printing for the information of user to enter n numbers. Then I used employee do loop along with read statement for reading the array. I've already explained how to use employee do loop in the video explaining the use of array, read and write using array. So x, I from 1 to n. Then I have to check large is equal to maximum function, short form for maximum function, maxifn. X is the array I am giving in the argument, and n is the numbers, first number, n numbers. So large is the variable. I stored the function in this variable large, calculated by the function subprogram whose name is maxifn, and I have given array and an integer variable as an argument in the function. And then I have to print that largest number, write maximum number is large, and the program. Stop, or you can also write stop depending upon the compiler which you are using. So then I have to define integer function. Okay, because why integer? Because I have defined array as integer. So this array has integer values only. Okay, so if you want to find largest number in this array, it will also be an integer. So data type of function should be integer, because we are returning the output through name of the function, and name of the function should be integer. So data type of function is integer here, then function, name of the function, and in bracket we have a comma m. We were using the symbol x for the array in the main program, and in call program, function subprogram, I use the symbol a for the array, and comma m. So by default m is an integer, but function subprogram do not know about a. By default it is real, and it is not a variable, it is a simple variable. But I have to define it as an array, that too integer, along with the same memory locations as that in main program. So I intentionally define integer a, and dimension is 100, same as that of x in main program. Okay, so in order to find a largest number in an memory locations, so I compare any number with the first location. Whichever is largest, I will store that number in the original variable. Then I compare this original variable, say n big, I am using the symbol n big. So I compare n big with the first location. I assigned a certain lowest number, for example say minus 99,999 in it, and I compare it with the first memory location of the array. Whichever is bigger will be stored in n big again. Then I compare this n big with the second memory location. Whichever is bigger in between second memory location and this n big now at this stage will be stored in n big again, and so on for the n times. So for this I am using explicit do loop, do and do, I from 1 to m. N big is equal to maximum of array's location at each memory location and the variable n big. Max0 is the inbuilt function which calculate or which gives the maximum of out of these two numbers. And then I stop the do loop and assign the biggest number n big to the name of function and return and end. So this is how it works. If you execute this program, it will ask enter n. So I enter, say I need to enter 4 numbers. So then it will ask enter these 4 numbers minus. So I enter -1, 0, and 5 and 9. Any random 4 numbers, 0 as well and negative as well. So then this program will give output maximum is 9. So largest number which we entered is 9 in this input. So this is how function subprogram works. So next is subroutines, subprograms. Now if we have statement function, if we have function subprogram, then why we need subroutines? Because there are certain limitations of function subprogram as well. First limitation is it return only a single value. What if we need more than one value? Second is one has to feed function name with the arguments in the calling program. Okay, so in main program we have to give values to each argument. Okay, and in the title of function program and in the subprogram. So in subprogram as well as the main program, we have to feed the function subprogram with the arguments. So this is its limitation. These shortcomings can be overcome with the use of subroutines. Syntax is given by uh, subroutine. Remember, in function subprogram, we need data type. And here we do not need any data type because we are not returning the value by its name. So syntax is subroutine, name of subroutine. In bracket, we have argument 1, 2, 3, so on, n arguments separated by comma, and a block of statement, either a single statement or block of statement, any n number of statements, along with the return statement and end. Remember, return is used to return the control to the main program from subprogram. So name is any legal Fortran name, which I've already explained, and argument 1, 2, 3 are dummy variables. Now I will explain what are the meanings of these arguments. So some of these arguments are used to transfer numeric values from calling program to called program. The remaining arguments are used to transfer calculated value back to the calling program. Subroutine names need not to be assigned with any value. So to invoke a subroutine, once you define a subroutine, you have to call that subroutine into the main program as well. So to invoke a subroutine, a call statement is used as follows. So simply call name of the subroutine followed by the arguments x1, x2, so on up to xn, n arguments, any n number of arguments. x1, x2 are actual arguments. These arguments must match in type and number with the dummy arguments in subroutine statement. I have already explained this concept in functions of program. So let us write a program for finding sum, difference and product of two numbers using a subroutine. So simply, if I enter two numbers a and b, I need to find sum, difference, product using subroutines. So I write a program and I ask the user to enter two numbers a and b. Then I call the subroutine by call. Name of subroutine, I defined it as math. I given the argument a, b. These are two numbers entered by the user. Then another three arguments: add, subtract, subt short for subtract, and prod short for product, separated by comma. These are the variable through which we'll get output from the subroutine back to this program. Then once we have the value of addition of two numbers, subtraction and product, we can print onto the screen. So write sum, difference and product is stored in this variable, add, comma, subtract, comma, product, and end the program. So this is the main program, and after this we defined subroutine whose name is math, and defined the argument x, y, sum, difference, p multiply. Okay, so I'll explain how these works. Then I assign sum is equal to x plus y, difference is equal to x minus y, and product p multiply is equal to x into y, and return and end. So this is how this program works. Now I have used different symbols for different variable names for the arguments. So how it works? In program, I use the variable a, b, add, subtract, product. In subroutine, I use x, y, sum, difference, and p multiply. Totally different names. So because in main program, this memory location is called as a, and this same memory location is called as x in subroutine. So same memory locations having different names. And similarly for the other variables. Now another question is why I use p multiply and not only simply multiply, because if I use multiply, this variable multiply start from character m, which is by default an integer. But in main program, this memory location has a name of variable as product, which is by default is starting from character p, which is by default a real number. So in main program, this memory location is real. In subroutine, this memory location corresponding to an integer, which is wrong. They must have same data type. So that is why I put a character p in front of this variable multiply. And now this variable p multiply is starting from character p, which is by default a real in Fortran. Okay, so when we execute this program, we have to enter two numbers a and b. I have entered two numbers 2 and 3. Their sum is 5, their difference is -1, their product is 6. So this is how this program works. Okay, so we have studied about subprograms that has two categories, functions and subroutines. Next is data file operations. So far, data is fed through the keyboard and result is printed on the screen. Okay, so we were using the read star comma star and write star comma star. First star in these statements corresponding to, if it is read star, then it means read from the screen or from the keyboard, and if it is write star, it means write onto the screen. This process is convenient if data is to be fed or displayed is small. However, in general, we deal with a large amount of data, and for this purpose, are used from which data files are used from which data can be read or can be written onto the file. For read-write operation, first data file need to be open. Okay, before reading from some file, you have to open it, and before writing onto some file, you have to open that file. So for that, syntax is in Fortran we have open, then in bracket we have unit is equal to unit number. Unit number is the label number, similarly to the equation number. So just like we have equation number, we have label number for the statements written in the main program or any program. Then comma, file is equal to, in inverted comma we have name of the file, comma, status is equal to, in inverted comma we have status. So what is status meant? Status is whether the file is already existing in the computer, or whether the file is new, or you don't know about the status. If it is already existing in the system, there is no issue. But if it is new, this statement can automatically open the file whose name is this one. Okay. So unit number is an integer which is assigned to file name. File name is a character expression used to name of the file. Then status, it is status of the file. It can be old, new and unknown. So open statement can be placed anywhere in the program but before the use of that file. File open should be closed as well. So once you open the file and you done read or write from or onto the file, you have to close that file as well, because it is occupying the memory in the system and it will slow down the processes. So you have to free the memory. So in order to free the memory, you have to close the file. So syntax for closing the file is close unit in bracket, unit is equal to unit number, label, the number which is assigned to the file name. So let us write a program for understanding the file handling or input-output handling using data files. So I opened two files and assigned them unit 1 and 2. Name of first file is abc.in, second file is zxc.in, and status of first file is old and status of second file, I don't know, it is unknown. First file I want to use for reading from this file, reading input from this file, and that is why I kept its status as old, because I have already made this file onto the system. And second file I used to write onto this file, but I have not made this file. So that is why I write the status as unknown, because I don't know whether this file is already existing. Any file whose name is zxc.in is already existing in system or not. So I kept it as unknown. Then for reading from the file, if I kept the number of lines in this file, so reading from each line, I use explicit do loop, do I from 1 to 10, read from 1. Now in place of star, I use unit number assigned to that file, which is 1. Read from 1. How? Using unformatted or not formatted by the user. Star means, so what you read the value of variable n. Then after reading this value, immediately you write the value in second file. So in place of star, I put 2 here. How? Without any formatting. Uh, and what value to write? Product of this counter I and the read value n, read from the file. So you have to read from a file whose unit number is 1, and you have to write onto the file whose unit number is 2. What value is to be write? Product of counter and number n. Stop the do loop. Now you have to close the file as well. So close unit is equal to 1 for first file and close unit is equal to 2 for second file. Stop and end the program. Now when you execute this program, uh, since ABC is an input file which is old file, and I have already made this file into the system, and I have saved this file with 10 different entries, 10 entries, say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. Now when you execute this program, this read statement is reading value of n from first line first. So n is equal to 1. Then it will go move on to second statement, write on second file what value? Value of I is 1 now, and first value of n is also 1. So 1 into 1, it print on to this file is 1. So first element is 1. Now this loop repeats. Again it goes to statement read 1 comma star n. Keep in mind that you have already opened this file, you have not closed this file. If you close this file and if you again open it and read the file, it will read first value as 1, but you have not closed this file so far, so it will read on next value 2 for n. And now value of I is also 2, so it will write 2 into value of n 2, so 2 into 2, it will write 4 on second file. So 4 again, and it repeat the process and keep on reading from this file and writing the product I and product of I and n onto this file. So this is how we can read and write from and onto a file in a Fortran program. So in this video, we have studied about the subprograms, which include function subprograms that has inbuilt function, intrinsic function, and function subprogram. Then we have second category of subprogram, subroutine subprograms. And also we have discussed about how to handle file in Fortran, how to handle or how to read data from a input file and how to write onto a file. Okay, so thank you for watching this video.